Hello guys! In today's video I'm going to share with you a super crazy spectacular variation of the elephant gambit. So the elephant gambit, it looks like this, and for this to work they need to accept both of these pawns like this. You are probably aware of this gambit as it was popularized by Jonathan Schranz. Man, we miss you. I hope you will see this and enjoy this crazy variation. So in this position, instead of going for the main line, we will play this sideline with bishop to d6. By the way, this line that I'm about to show you was submitted to me by Mr. Total Noob 69, a great guy. Maybe you have already heard of him as a master stalker, as he was stalking all the Jonathan Schranz games. But what you may not know about this guy, he is a chess analysis genius and a founder of Lichess Tools extension, a super useful extension of the Lichess website. Alright, now back to this crazy line. So, since their knight is under attack, the most played move here is knight back to f3, and well, we are down one pawn in material. That's just not enough, so we are going to fix it by playing pawn to c6, hanging another pawn, and after they capture, we are going to get castled, offering yet another pawn to grab. Now, this gambit, Mr. Total Noob 69 referred to it as the lemming gambit, but I think this just goes beyond being a gambit. This is crazy. I call this the suicide squad. The only unfortunate thing about this suicide squad gambit is that the most played move here is bishop to e2 and not capturing on b7, which is actually the most correct thing for them to do. They should be just grabbing this pawn and they have a winning position. But most guys are going to play bishop to e2. Against this you are going to just recapture on c6 and you are down two pawns, and this should be like some gambit. Maybe this is a fun gambit with many traps. I haven't really looked at this yet in the depth, but yeah, it is what it is, and this is it. But the second most played move here is c captures on b7, and this, if you get on the board, now you are a happy gambiteer. Because this will just get too wild, too wild. So of course here we will recapture on b7, and now the most played move is also the most correct one. Just bishop to e2 and try to get quickly castled. But we throw in this knight to g4. And this move actually stops them from castling, because if they castle in this position, they are lost. We can capture the knight on f3, and if they dare to recapture, we land the bishop on h2 with a check, the king is forced to the corner, and now we finish them with knight captures on f2. If they capture the bishop, they lose the queen, and if they capture the knight, well, we bring in our queen, hitting the rook, and they can either lose the rook or they can get checkmated just like this. So castling is not playable for white in this position. Anyways, what most guys are doing here is pushing pawn to h3 and just trying to get rid of this annoying knight. Well, here we are going to start the sacrifices. And we start with bishop captures on f3. Well, you say, this is no sacrifice, this is just a fair trade. Okay, you know, the pieces need some warm up before they can just go full nuts. So they will recapture here, and you throw in this rook to e8 check. Now, it may appear as blocking the check is fine, but this is actually losing once again, thanks to the knight captures on f2. The queen is trapped here, so they need to capture the knight with the king and allow our queen to come to the h4 square, forcing the king to go back. And now after bishop to g3, we are having all sorts of checkmating ideas, and also this rook in the future is likely come to e1 and win the queen. So this position is actually lost for white. So what they have to do is play king to f1 here. They cannot block this with the bishop. What are we going to do about our hanging knight? Well, you know what. We are going to sacrifice it on f2 anyways. Forking the rook and the queen. The queen is actually still just trapped, so they have to capture the knight. And after this, we are bringing the queen to h4. The king is forced to go to f1, there is no other option for them. And now bishop to c5. We are of course threatening a checkmate. And the correct and the only correct way to deal with this for white is to actually hang the queen like this. Now there are no games in the database in this position, but I just don't see people playing this correct move, hanging their queen. And even if they play this and they do hang the queen and you capture this, the engine will say that this is just better for white, but practically speaking, without the queen, it's going to be really hard for them to try to win this. But maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Anyways, why would they even hang their queen when there appears to be a way to save things for white? With this move, pawn to d4, blocking the bishop, and once we capture this, now they can play queen to d2, and they are covering the mate, and they are still keeping the queen. Well, in this position, we just need some more pieces to join the attack. Unfortunately, our knight cannot make it to c6, to its usual developing square. So what do? We play knight to c6! Just freely hanging the knight, letting them fork our rooks. And this is actually just the best thing to do. It is the best move to develop the knight to c6, and it is the best move for them to go ahead and capture it. Just don't mind the arrows. So what on earth is going on in this position? Well, our rooks are hanging and we are going to play rook to d8. They should just go ahead and grab the free rook here. And after that, poor white. Once again, the only best and correct move is to hang the queen with queen to d2. Well, actually, in this position, it is not even the most correct way to approach is to go and capture the queen. The best thing to do for black here is to go for some kind of this maneuver and create some checkmating net. But in the original line that Total showed me, it continued with rook captures here, and after king recaptures, queen to e4 check, king goes to d1, and now the last crazy move. Can you spot the best move here for black? Either you can't. It is bishop to g1. And the point is, they shouldn't be capturing the bishop. The best move is pawn to c4. Because if they capture the bishop, the point is we are simply trading the rook for the bishop in this manner. And now our queen is, just creating some chaos on the back rank, making it hell for white to develop, and also just going to collect these pawns. And the game plan is pretty much simple. We collect those pawns and we just push our pawns and we win. Just like that. Alright guys, there was some alternative variations at this point after we played queen to h4. Yeah, so we sacrificed the knight on f2. We played queen to h4. They went king to f1. There is an alternative version of how you can play this. You can go ahead and sacrifice the knight here right away on c6. They should capture this. And now after bishop to g3, it looks like you are just trying to win the queen like this. So why wouldn't they just capture the rook? Well, because this is checkmate in 4 moves. First you grab the bishop. Now the best move for them is to play d3. You go ahead, give this check. They can start throwing some pieces and this is checkmate. Alright guys, I think this is it for this video. Shout out once again to Total Noob 69. I hope you had some fun watching this. I hope, you had some fun watching this. I hope you will have a nice year, 2024. Again, thanks for watching guys, and yeah, see you around. Bye.